I would like to thank you all for being here. I am Professor Andrew Huang, and today I will be your host at UPTP Campus Hall. We have 4 sessions in the campus hall. Each session is scheduled for 20 minutes, and there will be a 5-minute break between session 2 and 3. The engineering mathematics class will present in the first session, in which our students will show how they use the engineering mathematics knowledge to study the COVID-19 infection model of Asunción and Paraguay. Their result is presented in an online international symposium composed of students from 4 countries. The second session contains the outcome of the work-study class. Students will show how they make use of the quarantine time to improve their daily life. The third session is dedicated to the hand-on exercise of the making of essential oil soap from the Learning by the Chemistry Lab class. And the last session is about using knowledge acquired in the surveying class and apply onto many landmark sites in Taiwan and Paraguay. Today, the university is proud to present some of these results.
Buenos días, me gustaría agradecerles a todos por estar aquí. Soy el profesor Andrew Huang y hoy seré el anfitrión en el UPTP Campus Hall. Tenemos 4 sesiones en el Campus Hall. Cada sesión está programada para 20 minutos y habrá un receso de 5 minutos entre cada sesión. La clase de Ingeniería Matemática se presentará en la primera sesión en la que nuestros estudiantes muestran cómo usan el conocimiento de Ingeniería Matemática para estudiar el modelo de infección COVID-19 de Asunción y Paraguay. Este resultado se presentó en un simposio internacional online, el cual participaron estudiantes de 4 países. La segunda sesión contiene el resultado de la clase de estudio de trabajo. Los estudiantes mostrarán cómo hacen uso del tiempo de cuarentena para mejorar su vida diaria. La tercera sesión está dedicada a la clase práctica de laboratorio de química sobre la fabricación de jabón usando aceite esencial. La última sesión se trata sobre el uso de los conocimientos adquiridos en la clase de topografía y su aplicación en muchos sitios emblemáticos de Taiwán y Paraguay. Hoy, la universidad se enorgullece en presentar algunos de estos resultados.
As we all know, the arrival of the COVID-19 has caused unprecedented change in our daily life at Paraguay. Such misfortune, however, did not stop UPTP from providing quality education to our students. On the contrary, the university has responded to this challenge by moving the classroom from the ground to the cloud. Furthermore, we boldly reach out to students at other countries and conduct research in COVID-19 infection modeling of many countries. This allows us not only to apply the engineering mathematics knowledge acquired at the UPTP, but also to socialize with people in other research communities.
Como todos sabemos, la llegada del COVID-19 ha causado un cambio sin precedentes en nuestra vida diaria en Paraguay. Sin embargo, tal adversidad no impidió que la UPTP brindara educación de calidad a nuestros estudiantes. Al contrario, la universidad ha respondido a este desafío moviendo el aula a las nubes. Además, contactamos con valentía con estudiantes de otros países y llevamos a cabo investigaciones para el modelado matemático de la infección de COVID-19 de muchos países. Esto nos permite no solo aplicar los conocimientos de ingeniería matemática adquiridos en la UPTP, sino también socializar con otras comunidades de investigación del mundo.
Our UPTP engineering mathematics students under the supervision of the TA Cesar Ayala and myself, will present their research results in the online engineering mathematics symposium that took place with students of 4 countries: Paraguay, Indonesia, Taiwan, and the United States of America. Let me introduce the TA, Cesar Ayala, and the outstanding students, Oliver Amaria, Ana Aquino, and Martin Lopez.
Nuestros estudiantes de Ingeniería Matemática de la UPTP, bajo la supervisión del TA César Ayala y el profesor Andreu Juan, presentarán los resultados de su investigación en línea, Ingeniería Matemática Simposio, que tuvo lugar con estudiantes de 4 países, Paraguay, Indonesia, Taiwán y los Estados Unidos de América. Permítanme presentarles al TA César Ayala y a los sobresalientes estudiantes Oliver Amarilla, Ana Aquino y Martín López.
Hello, my name is Abby Lackman, and I'm a diplomat at the U.S. Embassy in Asunción, Paraguay. Congratulations on participating in this event today. Today, you will have the chance to meet and work with students and professors from other countries. From my own experience, I can tell you that when you work with people from other countries, you always learn something new. You'll be pushed outside of your comfort zone, but you'll gain new perspectives and become better students and better prepared for professional opportunities as a result. From the Embassy, we encourage U.S. higher educational institutions to prioritize international outreach. Events like this one improve the educational experience of Americans and students in other countries. We are especially pleased to see this sort of collaboration in these unprecedented times between students and professors from 4 different countries. I want to congratulate the organizers of the symposium for taking advantage of technology and virtual tools to make today's event possible. Even when you all go back to in-person classes, I hope you continue to take advantage of these tools and continue interacting with people all over the world. Thank you for applying your skills to this real-life problem. The more smart brains we have working on the challenges we face, the better off we will all be. Again, congratulations in advance for the work you will do today and for taking advantage of this opportunity. A mis amigos paraguayos, hay que decir que roja Paraguay y me encanta la chipa. To all, stay healthy, wash your hands, and muy buena suerte hoy. Jayo, jayo.
Dear students of engineering mathematics class at the Universidad Politécnica Taiwan Paraguay, students from the Indonesia, students at Taiwan, and students from the United States of America. I'm Yurin Chen from the Taiwan Embassy at Asunción, and I welcome you to the Engineering Mathematics Symposium prepared by Professor Andrew Huang from the National Taiwan University of Science and Technology. On behalf of the Taiwan Embassy at Asuncion, I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate you for your excellent research work on COVID-19 infection modeling. As you may know that Taiwan government and the Paraguay government started this new university about 18 months ago. We at the Taiwan Embassy have been working closely with all professors since then. It's a pleasant surprise to know that an international mathematics symposium will take place in the new university, in which students from the Taiwan, Paraguay, Indonesia, and the United States of America will present and exchange their research works. Your efforts and endeavors are commendable, not only because of your courage that you have shown by tackling such a difficult problem, but also because of your willingness to reach out and share your findings with students who are experiencing COVID-19 lockdown around the globe. Every person is unique and special. We all come from different places, dream of different futures, and speak of various languages. Yet one thing is common, the languages of mathematics and science. I see that each team takes different approaches toward this pressing issue of COVID-19 infection. It's comforting to know that you are capable of applying mathematics and science knowledge. Whether it's ordinary differential equation, statistics, or probability, to the real-world problems. I believe you will advance beyond what you learned today and use it for a better world. Professor Andrew Huang has boldly expanded our existing remote teaching learning platform to the next higher level. Each of you participating from different parts of the world has proven that such remote learning teaching platform can actually facilitate interaction for students all over the world long after COVID-19 pandemic is over. I encourage you to embrace innovative solutions, not just to socialize, but for academia. I look forward to seeing you contributing to a better world in the near future. 再见，拜拜。
The spread of the disease itself, as you can see from the screen, there are a lot of diseases, and this disease is affecting some people, and with us as human beings, we are the population at higher risk to get this disease. And when this disease becomes very contagious, and it will become the pandemic, and this also another word called the epidemic. The epidemic itself coming from two words, the epi and then the demic. So coming from the Greek word, the epi means the upon, and demic is actually demons, and demons means people. And the scientific study of this is called the epidemiology. This is talk about the SIRD. So S itself is susceptible, which is and then the I is infected, R is the recovered, and we add another variable for the death or D. So susceptible is the people who are not.
We used a variety of differential equations, and we looked at the data set for, I think, around 4 to 5 different countries. So the differential equations we used were first the simplest exponential growth model, where the rate of change of the population is proportional to some constant times the population. And then to add some more complexity, we looked at a logistic model where the rate of change of the population is equal to some constant times the population times some function of the population. And we also tried some other differential equations, such as an arctangent fit and some polynomial fits, but we found that they didn't fit too well.
So I took a little bit of a different approach. I used something called ARIMA modeling, which is a statistics-based model. Now, for ARIMA modeling, there are 3 components to it, which is AR, which stands for autoregressive, I for integrated, and MA for moving average. So here's the concept behind the model. It's saying is that the prediction for the next number is based on what the current number is. And then there's the MA component, which stands for moving average. So
hello, we are the Paraguay team, and we want to share our modeling of COVID-19 in our country. I will briefly talk about each of the models we considered, and we'll start with the logistic one, which, in spite of being relatively simple, it does take into account that there are some limiting factors that slow down the rate of growth of the infected population. Our second model is the SIR model, which includes 3 different groups that are involved in the spreading of the virus. And these are the susceptible group, which are the people that are not infected. Then we have the infected group and the recovered group. Our third and last mathematical model is a slightly different version of the previous one. It's called the SEIR model because it now includes a 4th population, the exposed one, which are infected but do not show any symptoms. Anyway, they will also spread the virus. We started with the analysis of the available data in Paraguay. Then we selected our mathematical model and we tried to adjust it or calibrate it to fit the data properly. Next, in the validation process, we tried to compare our conceptual model to the real system using error analysis.
So I'm going to talk about the situation in Paraguay to do an exploratory data analysis to see which method fits the best, which model fits the best with the information we have. As you can see here in the first graph, which shows the infected people per day, there does not seem to be a pattern, so it would be difficult for a model to fit this curve. And on the other hand, the graph which shows the cumulative infected people over time, it does seem to be following a pattern, and it may be described by one of the mathematical models shown before. means that the whole country may be affected by two independent trends, one for the local spread and the other for the imported cases. And the effects on the country of each of these may change over time. For example, the immigration or the situation of the countries bordering Paraguay affect the imported cases. And as you can see here, the cases in the capital city and surroundings look much more stable than for other graphs. And this makes it easier to find a model that will fit these curves. And it makes sense that the spread behavior in urban areas is independent from other zones, because the people who live there have different lifestyles, or the input of infected people from other countries is much lower than for example, cities that are at the borders of the country.
What we do in calibration is basically trying to fit a model as much as we can to the data we have. This is how it looks like for the logistic model. This is for the whole country, and this is for capital and surroundings. Then we have for the SIR model, this is for the whole country and capital and surroundings. We can see that this model fits a little more better than the logistic model. And then we have the SEIR model. This model has the same principle as the SIR model, but it's a little more complex and requires more parameters. So we can see here that the result is practically the same. So this is why we are not going to analyze this model. We continue with the performance analysis. This is the validation result for the logistic model. What we do in validation is take all these points we don't use in calibration and feed it in here and trying to see if we can predict these values. And this is how it looks like for the logistic model. And then there's residual analysis for the logistic model. So this shows that the logistic model is going to have high error values for higher predictive values. And then we can see here the autocorrelation. It has a pattern. This just shows us that the error contains information from the days before, and that just means that the trend is not well explained. So what we can say for the logistic model is that it's not going to model COVID-19 in Paraguay very well, especially for predicting values, because it's going to have a big error.
So now we are going to analyze the performance of the SIR model. In the validation results, we can see that the model actually describes quite well the general tendency of the observed data. Nevertheless, this model is not perfect either. So we analyze the residual, which is the error of the model, over time for the SIR model. When trying to describe the whole country data, we actually see that the error tends to increase while time increases. This makes this model, SIR model, not suitable for forecasting infected people in the whole country. Nevertheless, we don't have the same problem for the data in Asunción and Central. Also, we can see that the error doesn't actually distribute as a normal distribution as we expect for models that describes well the data. Here, for example, because of time constraint, we just did one stochastic model, and we actually see that the general spread of the data is better explained, and as well the general tendency. Nevertheless, the performance, as we can see in the right-hand side plot, the performance is not better from the SIR model without the stochastic component. I hope you have enjoyed this presentation, and thank you all for attending.
Le agradecemos al equipo de Ingeniería Matemática por compartir sus conocimientos y el desarrollo de su trabajo durante el semestre. En esta segunda sesión vamos a conocer sobre las aplicaciones de métodos de estudio de trabajo para mejorar las actividades diarias durante la cuarentena de COVID-19. Debido a la cuarentena de COVID-19, todos los estudiantes pasan considerablemente más tiempo en casa. Esto les permitió tener una visión más profunda de las actividades diarias en su familia y descubrieron que algunas actividades son ineficientes o incluso inseguras. El proyecto pidió a los estudiantes identificar sus actividades y aplicar herramientas como cuadros, diagramas, ecuaciones o principios aprendidos en esta materia para mejorarlos. Este trabajo fue supervisado por el profesor Chen He Robert Lin y el TA César Javier Ayala Martínez. Las estudiantes que desarrollaron este estudio son Sofía Ramos y María José Barrios.
Dear respectable guests, welcome to this session. My name is Chen Lin. I am the instructor for the UPTP course of World Study. In this session, we have two distinguished students, Sofia Ramos and Maria Jose Barrios, who will present their outstanding project works in the Work Study class. But before their presentation, I would like to spend a little bit time to introduce you the subject of Work Study. For some of you may not be familiar with this subject or even unheard of it. The work study is human engineering with scientific methodologies, work design, and work measurement to improve productivity, quality, and user satisfaction in manufacturing and service systems. By human engineering, we mean the subject emphasizes on workers' need, while scientific approaches are adopted to improve their welfare and health. Scientific approaches include different charts, diagrams, and tables to collect, represent, and analyze data. Then, engineering techniques such as human factors, safety management, and quantitative planning or modeling are used to implement a better design for working environment and task conditions. Finally, the work measurement will establish reasonable standards to achieve fair payment and encouragement systems. This is not to say that the work study focuses only on workers' satisfaction, but it regards the workers' satisfaction as the basis to improve the productivity and the quality of the products or the services provided by the industries. So, the spirit of the work study is to find a better way, as always, to solve the problem without sacrificing the health and the happiness of the workers. Also, the execution of the work study should be human-centered. That is, the success of the system depends on whether we can listen, communicate, and be considerate for the most valuable resource of the system, the human being. More importantly, the work study is not an enforcement for harder work, especially not to set up unreasonable high standards for workers to follow without considering their individual needs, capabilities, and limitations. The field of work study emerged after Frederick W. Taylor and Frank and Lillian Gilbreth's, who contribute greatly to modern time study and motion studies. The time studies pioneered quantitative and objective analysis of working methods, while the motion studies provided fundamentals for motion economy. The growth of these fields was also boosted by the application of human factors, or some other people called ergonomics, to military research during World War II. Because back then, the understanding of human capability could not keep pace with the advance of technology, and the mismatch between the requirements of the task in the battles and the ability of combative personnel caused a great loss of human lives. Then, since 1970s, the application of human factors and work study has shifted to different industrial sectors, such as making computer software more user-friendly, reducing strenuous manual lifting tasks, and so on. But the goal of work study has remained unchanged, as minimizing the gap between the work and the worker by fitting the former one to the later one, but not vice versa. The title of this session is Application of Work-Study Methods to Improve Daily Activities During COVID-19 Quarantine. A lot of students experience inconvenience during the COVID-19 quarantine, and because they must have spent more time at home, I believe they will find more daily activities are either insufficient, inconvenient, or even unsafe. These activities can vary from sharing the same place with other family members and finding out there are conflicts to repetitive and boring disinfection process, and so on. I requested the students to utilize their knowledge learned from this course to have a deep, thorough understanding of the root causes for the inefficiency, inconvenience, or safety hazards. Then apply the tools and techniques of the work study to solve the problems. In the following, two distinguished students, Sofia Ramos and Maria Jose Barrios, will present their work. Without further ado, let us welcome Sofia Ramos and Maria Jose Barrios.
Good afternoon, Professor, TA, and classmates. My name is Sofia Ramos, and today I am going to present about online classes in shared room. Just before the pandemic started, my family and I moved to another house, where my sister and I had to share a room that was outside the house. The problem started when total quarantine due to COVID-19 was declared. Therefore, we started to have online classes, and the space in our new room was no longer enough for us to have classes there. And lighting was not very good also. So we began to use common area spaces for the family to have our classes, such as the dining room. This caused family conflicts to begin, due to space, noise, among other factors. Therefore, one afternoon we got together and started looking for solutions to the problem we had. The goal of the project was to improve coexistence at home, helping family relationships to be no longer affected by the issue of online classes due to quarantine. The methodologies and principles we implemented included the fish diagram, Pareto analysis, 5S system, and flow diagram. The fish diagram consists of defining problems and their causes. We applied that after brainstorming. We collected all the possible problems we were having and categorized them according to their causes in 4 main groups: space, light, fatigue, and time. After defining the problems and their causes, we turned to Pareto analysis, which states that 80% of the effects come from about 20% of the causes. We surveyed family members to identify the top 3 issues, and they were light not being too powerful for both desks, desks being too small due to space, and us wasting time going to our brother's room to use the printer since in our room there was no space to have. After that, we recognized that 80% of those issues carried 23% of those causes. So, by taking care of those 3 main causes, we will be solving the majority of the problems. At this point, we realized that all these will be solved with a study space. So, we used the room adjacent to our bedroom and turned it into one. We used the 5S system to do it. First, we did the sorting by removing all the unnecessary items that were there, leaving it completely empty and spacious except for the table that was part of the original structure. Set in order. As one of our main problems was the size of our desks, we replaced them with a larger one that was in the warehouse of the house. The desk was now bigger and the light was better. We then took these 2 desks to the adjacent room and put them and used them to put our books and the printer, since the printer was also one of the main problems. In this way, we set everything in order, and finally we had our study space. Shine. After that, we prepared a cleaning kit so that the room will be always neat in case anyone wanted to use it. Sustain. We also decided to add some rules and a schedule where everyone would take turns using the study space. to sustain the order and the harmony. Flow diagram. This is the floor layout of my house. Here is my house, and here is the study room my sister and I shared. As you can see, here is the closet room, the one that we turn it into, and study space. Here is the dining room that we used to have classes in, and the printer located inside my brother's room. This whole path to have online classes almost every day consisted of 36 steps in total, which was 1 minute and 5 seconds of wasted time. After the creation of the study space, we reduced those steps to only 7, which was only 15 seconds of wasted time, to get to both the new desk and the printer to have the online classes. These were the quantitative changes of the project. To know how everyone felt and their opinions about it, we did a survey again. And we could realize that everyone was satisfied with the new space created and the results that it brought, since we all worked together to make it happen. These were the comments my family had about it, and this consists of the qualitative changes of the project. From the moment we got together among all the members of the family to discuss the fact that the lack of a study space was causing family problems, we made an effort to try to solve it from the roots. Through the use of the fish diagram and Pareto analysis, which was possible to carry out thanks to the survey we made, we were able to recognize the main drawbacks to be solved. Then, using the methodology of the 5S system and flow diagram, we were able to solve these 3 problems all through the creation of a study space. We learned a lot working together, but we do believe that there is still room for improvement. For example, adding a blackboard where my brother could learn, among other things. Thanks for your attention.
Good morning, I'm Maria Jose Barres, and I'm going to talk about the problem I chose for my work study project. I chose the space of my kitchen as my problem. I picked this problem because there are 8 people living in a house: my mother, my father, 8 brothers, and my grandma. So, while my brothers and I were growing up, we realized that my kitchen was getting small for my family. We can't enter all at once because we starve each other or because not all appliances were fitting in the kitchen. The major goal of this project was to find an efficient and low-cost solution to overcome the space problem in the kitchen so that the solution found can be used. In order to analyze this problem, first, with a member of my family, we do a brainstorming to find all possible causes for this problem. Then, all those causes were ordered in a fish diagram to have a better vision of the causes of the problem. Then, with these causes, a survey was conducted to all members of my family, and then, with the result, I made the Pareto analysis in order to know what are the principal causes of the problem. To solve the problem based on the main causes, I did a flow diagram. This tool I used to show the actual configuration and the flow of the kitchen and to see all possible solutions, to then make a comparison of the effectiveness and cost of the solution. And last, using the 5S system, and before and after comparison of 2 principles is made, in order to show the improvement with the chosen solution. This fish diagram is the result of the brainstorming made, and we can see that the 4 major categories are time, space, structure, and emotion. This Pareto analysis is the result of the survey that I made to my family. They have to both of 3 principal causes mentioned in the fish diagram, and then I sort the result in order to do this analysis. We can see that the 3 principal causes were crowd of people waiting for others to come out and a small kitchen counter, and this problem accounts for 27% of causes, and their values represent 71% of the problem. So this is not quite fulfill the 80-20 rule, but it's very close. This is the result of the actual kitchen flow diagram, and this shows what the flow of the kitchen is currently, and also where the intersections are when there are many people in the kitchen. So then I made 2 flow diagrams to see possible solutions that I found. For the first solution, it can be seen that the left wall is open, in order to solve the problem that the entrance is too small. Also, to be able to enlarge the kitchen and thus have a better flow, and all the appliances will fit, we could access to the kitchen from the dining room. For the second solution, it is observed that two valves are open. With this solution, the kitchen will no longer have intersection, and thus the flow will be much better. The kitchen can be enlarged and can be accessed from the living room and dining room, so all the problems presented in the fish diagram would be reduced. In order to decide which is the best solution, I made the cost-effective analysis. I approximated problems reduction and the cost that each solution will have. We can say that solution 2 is more effective, but is the most expensive. And solution 1 is less effective but cheaper. A survey was made to my family, and the most voted solution was solution 1, because it's the most cost-effective solution and could be done in a shorter period of time. Using the solution 1 as my efficient solution for the fire system, first I used sort, and here we can see that the before and after comparison. This is how actually my kitchen is, and using this principle, we open the wall, and with this we will have direct access from the dining room, more space to move and enlarge the kitchen. The entrance to the kitchen will be larger, and the problem occurring of people could be improved. Then, using set in order principle, we can see that actually my oven is outside the kitchen because we don't have more space. And after opening the wall, we will have more space to rearrange the kitchen so that the oven will fit in the kitchen and the kitchen counter could be larger too. In conclusion, when carrying out this project and beginning to analyze the problem, I, along with the member of my family, realized that small causes can lead to a bigger problem, and that carrying out the solution of the problem may not be so fast.
Gracias al equipo de estudio del trabajo por compartir con nosotros el proyecto desarrollado durante el semestre. En esta tercera sesión, escucharemos primero la palabra de la profesora Isiu Mei Chen, profesora de Química y Laboratorio de Química. Ella nos dará una breve introducción sobre los beneficios del uso de aceites esenciales para la fabricación de jabones y su uso en la lucha contra el COVID-19.
Good day, everyone. In this study, the production of beneficial essential oil soaps to fight against the coronavirus is introduced. This study was supervised by me, Professor Chen, and Dr. Maria Espinola. Starting from the first outbreak in China, the COVID-19 infection has spread rapidly across the globe in just a couple of months. Right from the beginning, wash hands has become not only a slogan, but also a real action all over the world. However, patients suffering from hand dermatitis are getting more and more populated, especially if they wash hands with synthetic soap frequently, which contain harmful artificial ingredients. Inspired by the natural beneficial soaps made and used by the indigenous people of South America for thousands of years, as well as the rich landscape and precious traditional herb teas of Paraguay, we came up with the idea of producing essential oil soaps from natural resources. In the following two presentations, our outstanding students combine their knowledge on essential oils, molecular structures, phytochemicals, saponification, safety databases, and the virus infection built up in this remote learning. Now, please welcome them.
Los alumnos destacados para esta primera presentación sobre el uso de aceite de canola en la fabricación del jabón son Sola Yelén Barray, Belén Ramos, Adrián Piris, Marcela Maldonado y Emanuel Izquierdo.
Good morning, everyone. Today we're going to present to you the essential oil soap, specifically canola oil soap, and how it is a protective weapon against COVID-19.
We will start by introducing the definition, benefits, and distribution of canola. So, what is canola oil? It is a vegetable-based oil found in countless foods. It is a wonderful option when it comes to soap-making ingredients. Not only does it contain vitamin E, an antioxidant that will protect your skin from free radicals, it also contains omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids, which help to combat premature aging and soothe dry, irritated skin. Now let's talk about its benefits. Canola oil has 7% saturated fat, which helps cut cholesterol levels. It is rich in vitamins E and K and reduces skin problems and aging signs like acne, fine lines, wrinkles, blemishes, and spots. The benefits of canola oil are similar to olive oil. It may aid in lowering cholesterol, help control blood glucose levels, and might provide some protection against heart attacks and strokes.
The production of canola is done worldwide. However, the top 6 countries producing it are China, Germany, Canada, India, France, and Japan. Only in 2014, in the world were produced around 25,944,831 tons of canola. It is even produced in Paraguay. However, it is produced in small amounts, and therefore its production isn't that known.
Organic soap against viruses. In this part, we will be talking about the advantages, the importance, the composition, and also the saponification about the organic soap. The organic soap advantages. Organic soap not only protects humans, but it also protects animals too. This is because they are cruelty-free. This means that they are not tested on animals. They also have no preservatives, and they are more economic. They also maintain pH level. Its pH level is almost 9 to 10, so it's not so harsh for the skin. They also has better healing properties, and this is because they have natural ingredients, and they are very good for the skin. The importance. Right now, during the COVID-19 pandemic, hand washing is one of the most effective ways to prevent the spread of the virus. We need to wash our hands before and after outdoor activities, before touching our face, and before and after contact with other people. We need to wash our hands at least 20 or more seconds.
Another important factor are the costs of production. The next data is given to produce 9 soaps of 90 grams each. As you can see, we will need to use 93.78 grams of sodium hydroxide from a price from around $8. Water, 209.72 in a price of around $1. Canola oil, 605 grams from a price of $4. Other materials as molds and package are also very important, and therefore we will use around $12. The total cost of production are $25. If we sell our soaps to $8 each, our gross income will be from around $72 and the net income from $47.
So now we can mention the composition of our canola oil using Avogadro 0.cc program. So now we start talking about the unsaturated acids of the composition of the canola oil. That is the oleic acid, that is this first on the top, that is the 56% of the canola oil compound. Also, we have the linoleic acid, that is in the 26% of the composition, and also we have the alpha-linoleic acid that represent 10% of the composition of our canola oil. Also, we have in the saturated acids that are two. The first one is the palmitic acid that represent 4% of the composition of our canola. And also, on the other hand, we have the stearic acid that represent 2% of our canola composition. Now, knowing the composition of the canola oil, we can make a theoretical reaction to understand better the saponification process that we have. For example, we have here the canola oil and we make a reaction with glycerol. And this glycerol and canola oil make a product of triglyceride plus water. And this part is very important, this triglyceride, because this triglyceride is one important thing in our saponification process. So here we have the molecule of triglyceride, and as we mentioned, is a mix of glycerol and our canola oil. So here we have the glycerol, we have palmitic acid, that is the canola oil, a part of the canola oil. We have also the oleic acid, and also the alpha-linoleic acid to make our triglyceride. So this part of the molecule of the triglyceride is given by the canola oil. So this whole is the triglyceride. And this triglyceride we are going to use in the saponification because we are going to mix with hydroxides, alkali hydroxide, for example, sodium hydroxide, to make one glycerol and 3 molecules of soap. That's our saponification is essential oil plus glycerol give us triglyceride. And our triglyceride we mix with the alkali hydroxides, and then we have the molecules of soap to use.
How it works with viruses. Soap works better than alcohol and disinfectant at destroying the structure of viruses. It dissolves the fat membrane and the virus falls apart like a house of cards and dies, or rather, it becomes inactive, as viruses aren't really alive. Viruses can be active outside the body for hours, even days. Disinfectants, or liquids, wipes, gels, and creams containing alcohol and soap have a similar effect but are not as good as a regular soap. Apart from alcohol and soap, antibacterial agents in those products don't affect the virus structure too much. Consequently, many antibacterial products are basically just an expensive version of soap in how they act on viruses.
So now we have the gift to explain more visually how soap works. And the coronavirus have a lipid shell that protect all the material inside the virus. The soap molecules have a hydrophobic tail that is avoid the water and bonds with oil and fat, and also have a hydrophilic head that is to bonds with water. So this tail that is called the hydrophobic tail is the one who bonds with the lipid shell to destroy it, and all the material get out of the inside of the virus, and all of the residue of the trash of the virus go with the micelles. That is, in other words, the bubbles of soap. And so all the residues go with the water and the soap and bubbles. So that is how the soap works with the coronavirus.
To make your part in this important task of saving the world and combat coronavirus, we encourage you to use canola oil soap for a healthier daily life. Thank you for your attention.
El segundo grupo está formado por los distinguidos alumnos Diego Correa, Juliano Criquiño, Florencia Montebruno, Yamili Yaluf y Martín Valdés. Estos alumnos explicarán sobre el uso de aceite de ricinio para la fabricación de jabones.
Hello, we're here to talk about castor oil, how to make soap out of it, and how that soap may help in this pandemic.
Castor oil is a vegetable oil extracted from seed of the Ricinus communis plant. It can be used as an additive in foods, medication, skincare products, soap, as well as biodiesel fuel component. Castor oil is well known as a source of ricinoleic acid, a monounsaturated ethyl carbon fatty acid. The chemical reactivity of the alcohol group also allows chemical derivatization that is not possible with most other seed oils. In July 2007, Indian castor oil sold for about $0.90 per kilogram, or $0.41 per pound. Whereas US soybean, sunflower, and canola oils sold for about $0.30 per kilogram, or $0.14 per pound. In Spanish, it is known as aceite de ricino, not as aceite de castor.
Chemical composition of castor oil. Castor oil is composed of 90% ricinoleic acid, 3% oleic acid, 4% linoleic acid, 1% stearic acid, and less than 1% linolenic fatty acids. Okay, you can see here the formula and structure is composed of 57 carbons, 10 hydrogens, and 9 oxygens. Ricinoleic acid is another acid present here. Please take a look at the 12th carbon here. This functional group, this OH here, causes ricinoleic acid to be more polar than most fatty acids, okay? That's interesting. You can see here the formula and structure. Oleic acid is another component. It is considered to be irritant and occurs in various animals and vegetable fats. Linoleic acid contains anti-inflammatory, acne reductive, skin lightening, contains moisture retentive properties. Stearic acid is another acid present and is used to prepare softeners in textile sizing. Linolenic acid is another one. Due to this acid, one of the castor oil's properties is to be a natural moisturizer. Castor oil also contains phytochemicals. Due to these phytochemicals, castor oil is an antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, and anti-diabetic, and contains analgesic properties. These are two of them. You can see here, quercetin seems very interesting. It has antimicrobial agent. Then you have the safety data sheet of castor oil. You can see here, most important, the toxicological information is not toxic at all, and here it's very biodegradable. And here you can find, these are the places where you can find castor oil. Thank you.
So the first thing that I wanted to answer is, why soap? Why is it so important all of a sudden? Well, the truth is that soap should have been always important. It can help to reduce diarrhea risk by 47% and can also prevent a lot of intestinal infections. But in times like this, it is more important than ever because of its effectiveness fighting off viruses and also how easy and cheap it is to produce and manufacture. But exactly why is it so effective? Well, there are three ways soap has to inactivate virus. One is the membrane rupture mechanism. Basically, the soap has the ability to dismantle the phospholipid membrane that is there to protect the virus RNA. And basically that makes the RNA be exposed to its environment, rendering it useless. In case the membrane doesn't rupture, well, the soap still manages to make the virus lose its absorptive properties, and it will be dragged off with water when you wash off your hands. And then we have the viral entrapment mechanism. So the soap forms micelles in water, and the virus can get trapped in that micelle. And essentially that renders it useless too because it cannot interact with its environment, so it cannot infect any other cell. Basically, that's it. That's why soap is so important right now. So to make soap, you actually need to know about the saponification process. That is basically just a reaction of a triglyceride with sodium hydroxide or potassium hydroxide to yield soap and glycerol. In the case of castor oil, this triglycerol is called ricinolein, and a triglycerol is just a combination of three fatty acids joined with a glycerol structure. So when this reacts with sodium hydroxide, this will yield sodium salt of ricinoleic acid, that is the soap, and glycerol. So this part right here, you know this is the soap because this bond between sodium and oxygen will be an ionic bond. Therefore, this part will be polar, and this part will be non-polar. So therefore, this is the hydrophilic head, and this is the hydrophobic tail. So in a more graphical representation, here you have your reactants. These are your sodium hydroxide. This is your triglyceride, that is ricinolein. And here you have your products. These three are the soaps, that is the sodium salt of ricinoleic acid, And here you have the glycerol. Actually, you can see right here that making soap is really not that hard. In fact, it's really easy. That's exactly why soap is so amazing.
COVID-19 is made out of two proteins that protrude from its envelope. This envelope covers and protects the genetic material of the coronavirus, RNA. COVID-19 enters our body through airways to join the cell. These cells in the lungs, alveoli epithelium, have a protein called angiotensin-converting enzyme 2 that COVID-19 uses as a getaway, and that's how we get infected. You can see the virus has an envelope protecting its RNA. This viral envelope is made out of phospholipids, and here's where the soap comes into work. Phospholipids have a hydrophilic head and a hydrophobic tail, and they make a bilayer surrounding the RNA. The castor oil soap, composed of mostly ricinoleic acid with a polar head and a non-polar tail, will attach its non-polar tail to the hydrophobic tail of the viral envelope. When in contact with the water, the polar head of the soap will be attracted to it, and this will tear apart the hydrophilic tail of the phospholipids, breaking the virus protection and exposing its RNA.
Business plan. Here we have an example of a recipe for our castor oil soap that will give us an approximate of 1,700 grams of soap that we can divide into 13 soaps of 125 grams each. If we sell each soap at 0.73 US dollars, we could make in our sales 9.50 US dollars. If we look at the production cost of 4.78 US dollars, is actually a very close approximate, since the materials and the production cost of the castor oil soap are very cheap and easy to obtain. That will leave us to a profit of 4.82 US dollars, that is more than we spent in the start of the production. Also, the market prices for soap are between 0.88 and 0.52 US dollars. So we have a soap with a cheap production and a competitive market price.
So ladies and gentlemen, we got to the conclusion part, and I'm gonna say we totally recommend castor oil, mostly because it is completely natural and prevents disease spread, okay? Thank you for watching this presentation.
Agradecemos a los alumnos que presentaron el uso de aceites esenciales para la fabricación de jabones por compartir sus conocimientos e informaciones en este foro. En esta última sesión presentaremos el trabajo sobre integración de lugares emblemáticos de Paraguay y Taiwán con conocimientos de topografía. La topografía cumple una función importante en cualquier proyecto para obtener observaciones razonables. Conocer este tema es necesario tanto para el ingeniero de diseño como para el ingeniero de supervisión. En el transcurso de este semestre, los estudiantes aprendieron teorías y métodos de forma remota, reemplazando la forma tradicional de estudio debido a la pandemia. De esta manera, los estudiantes presentarán sus conocimientos de topografía de lugares emblemáticos de Paraguay y Taiwán para compartir sus logros en este curso con todos.
Good morning to everyone. My classmates Verónica Salinas and María José Olmedo and I, Katia González, are going to present about the Dragon and Tiger Pagodas. So first of all, the Dragon and Tiger Pagodas are part of a temple located on the southern edge of the Lotus Pond. The Lotus Pond is an artificial lake which is located on the east side of the district of Suoyin. It is in the city of Kaohsiung in Taiwan. This lake has around 20 temples worshipping different deities surrounding it. Talking about the temple, it was built in 1976. It includes 2 towers, the Tiger Tower and the Dragon Tower. They have 7 stories each, and in total their height is about 11 meters. This building is very representative of traditional Kaohsiung culture. As I already mentioned, it is located in Kaohsiung, Taiwan. The Dragon and Tiger Pagodas belong to the temple Siji Palace, which is located right across the street. In 1974, Bao Shendadi ordered to build the Dragon and Tiger Pagodas. Siji Palace houses Bao Shendadi, who along with other deities are the patron saints of the area. Talking about the symbols, in Chinese culture, dragons symbolize auspicious power and strength, and they have control over water. Tigers, on the other hand, symbolize prowess, righteousness, and harmony. Chinese people, instead of saying Lion King, they believe in Tiger King, the king of all animals. Both dragon and tiger are part of the 12 Chinese zodiac signs. It is believed that in order to turn bad luck into good luck, the correct way to make the journey is to enter through the mouth of the dragon and to get out through the mouth of the tiger. In this picture, we can see that the front is connected to the shore by a zigzag bridge. On the inside of these pagodas, there are many paintings depicting several Buddhist and Taoist characters and stories. Now my classmate Verónica Salinas is going to talk about the surveying of the Lotus Pond.
Hello everyone. I'm going to introduce you how to find the surface measurements of the Lotus Pond with Google Earth Pro. First, we need to write the name or coordinates of the location that we want to measure in the browser. Second, we select the tool Add Polygon. Once we have selected the corresponding tool, we can see that it has several options regarding the unit of measurement. Then, we proceed to mark several points on the edge of the lake to be able to form the polygon. When we finish marking the points, it's important to close the polygon with the first and the last point. And then we can observe the measurements obtained that are the area and perimeter. Also, we can edit the color of the polygon obtained as well as the lines that connect the points, that are the red lines. It should be clarified that the measurements obtained through this program are approximations of the actual measurements. Also, the program allows us to observe the coordinates. If we move the mouse to various locations on the lake or on the land, we can notice that the coordinates are changing. These are in the lower right corner. Also, the program allows us to observe the altitude with respect to the sea level. Now, my partner Maria Jose will introduce you to how to measure the height of the Dragon and Tiger Pagodas. Thank you.
Now I would like to talk about the surveying of the Dragon and Tiger Pagodas. In order to measure the height of the twin towers, we decided to use a total station that will make the work easier and very quick, since both angles and distance can be observed with a simple setup at the station. First, it is necessary to determine the point where the total station will be positioned. It should be a point with the best possible visibility. Once the point is marked and determined, the next step is the assembly of the equipment. For this, it is necessary to take into account some setup considerations. The head must be screwed snugly on the tripod, as we see in the video. Also, the legs of the tripod must be tightened correctly. If too loose, unstable setup will result. It's important to use the 3-screw leveling head to center the bubble. The next step is preset the total station using a laser option if it has or a ranged rod, then pointing the telescope to the ground and measure the distance. Then move the telescope vertically to the objective, or in this case the end of the roof. The equipment then will calculate the height by using the vertical angle and the distance by trigonometry. There might be some sorts of errors when measurements are done. The most common are instrumental errors. For example, if the tripod legs bolts are too loose or too tight, there will be a movement that affects the instrumental head. Personal errors if the bubble is not centered, and even more when measured long sights. Another error could be by an improper focusing of the objective that will lead to incorrect readings. Careful focusing will eliminate this problem. We hope you enjoy our presentation, and thanks everyone for your attention.
Hello everybody and welcome to our presentation. Today, my classmates and I wish to summarize our learning from the course of surveying and to present that acquired knowledge to you in the form of an analysis of the Xiangshan hiking trail in Taipei, the capital city of Taiwan, and how we would apply surveying techniques to measure and document this beautiful natural landmark. The group members are Sebastián Estigarribia, Milena Fleitas, and me, Eric Strüby. So, first, I will briefly introduce you to the topic at hand. Xiangshan Hiking Trail is one of the most popular destinations in Taipei among locals and tourists alike. It consists of a carved, walkable path from the bottom all the way to the top of the iconic Elephant Mountain, or Xiangshan in Chinese, located just 1 kilometer away from the city center. To give you some perspective, the Elephant Mountain is 183 meters tall, and the hiking trail was measured at around 1.5 kilometers, divided into several stations along the way to the top. Here are some pictures of what you might expect to see along the trail. The tallest building you see in the back is the iconic Taipei 101, the centerpiece of the city. So, as you can see, the path is long and arduous, but the view from the top is amazing. The perfect case study for surveying applications. As a team, we chose this topic because it enables us to summarize our learning from this semester very well. Since the hiking trail is basically a carved path to the top of a mountain, continuous changes in direction and elevation make it a very applicable case study. We have identified the possibility of calculating differences in elevation through leveling, variable slopes, azimuth and bearing angles, and more, through computer softwares and using traversing and other techniques which will be explained in our methodology.
When it comes to our approach to obtain measurements, first we analyze the trail and trace these pinkish lines that you can see on screen so as to limit our study. Then we approximated values of land and area by plotting hundreds of points in Google Maps. The recorded measure of the surface was about 30,341 meters squared and a path length of 1.72 kilometers. Next, we establish proper stations in our trace path and use it as a guide to plot coordinates with artists. Finally, we measure distances and elevations with Google Maps and Google Earth. The total length was about 1.5 kilometers, which compares to the 1.17 kilometers found by plotting and the 1.5 kilometers found during the research. Here, you can see a video of our study path.
These are the related surveying techniques we found could be applied to measure the hiking trail. Leveling can be used to document changes in elevation, since there is an aim to develop a ground configuration map. Differential leveling can be used for this purpose between stations. To facilitate this process, intermediate stations can be located so that vertical distances between them would be smaller, and thus be likely to contain less errors. Furthermore, trigonometric leveling may also be applied by measuring angles. The important thing to remember here is to keep short lines to avoid error accumulation. That is, lines that are below 1,000 feet or 300 meters.
EDM. electronic distance measurement, along with total station instrument, may facilitate such process by automatically observing horizontal and vertical angles, distance, and transmit those results in real time. Azimuths and bearing may be calculated by establishing an adequate reference meridian, as you can see in the photo, and the most followed principle within this approach formulated by us may be traversing, since we establish a series of consecutive lines whose ends have been marked on the field and whose lengths and direction may be determined by observation of a close polygon in this case, since the lines return to the starting point, forming a closed figure. The length of each traverse line can be calculated by the simplest and most economical method mentioned before, such as an EDM. In addition to all of this, random errors, no matter how small, are always present in surveying computations, and they may be due to natural, instrumental, or personal errors, or even by a mistake. And to minimize such errors, formulas can be included in the computation, such as the error propagation formula and even departure and latitude correction.
As final thoughts, we can say that this study was a challenge of the kind that university students need throughout their careers to realize the potential they have. This work is the result of a process of thinking what could work best with the available resources and how can we potentialize those results. At the end, it was an opportunity to get creative and envision ourselves as civil engineers. Having that said, we thank you for attending this forum and we hope that it also inspires you to grow as much as it did with us.
Hello everyone! Our main objective was to expand our knowledge of surveying through teamwork to measure the dimensions of the terrain of the Agora Garden Tower. We choose Agora Garden because nowadays we face climate change, so it's very important that our cities become sustainable. And a great way is with eco-friendly buildings, so we wanted to show to you an eco-friendly building. This luxury residential building is located in Taipei, Taiwan. Agora Garden has a swimming pool, a gym, and car parking for every department. The balconies on each floor will be filled with plants, vegetable gardens, and fruit trees. This will enable residents to grow their own food and compost all the biodegradable waste, such as a living organisms. The tower becomes metabolic, absorbs all the natural resources, and rejects only waste.
Such as a living organism, the tower becomes metabolic. It overpasses its energy-consuming passive role, absorbing all the natural resources and rejecting only waste to produce its own organic food. The architectural concept is thus an eco-design and energy self-sufficient building whose energy is electric, thermal, and also alimentary. The project answers directly to four main objectives. The first one is the reduction of the climatic global warming. The second one is the protection of the nature and the biodiversity. The third one is the protection of the environment and the quality of life. The fourth is the management of the natural resources and waste. The successive floors are twisted by 4.5 degree clockwise and are connected at both ends by two spiraling mega columns coated in glass walls. The tower is 90 degrees in total from base to tip, and rendering it a moving geometry that morphs its shape depending on which direction it is being viewed from. Its north-south elevation gives a reverse pyramid shape, while its east-west elevation is shaped like a rhomboidal pyramid. The building also features a photovoltaic roof located 100 meters above ground, with a surface area of 1,000 meters square. The photovoltaic pergola will integrate electricity produced from solar rays into the electric network of the building. Two huge rooftop clubhouses under the pergola are surrounded by the sky gardens that will naturally filter and purify rainwater with the action of the plants. The purified rainwater is injected into the building's water distribution system by gravity.
Thank you, Cecilia. How to survey the Agora Garden Tower? An accurate garden survey is vital to successful designing. We can use electronic distance measurement. They were expensive, but it is effective and more accurate. Equipment that I need for survey. Two telestation instrument combine an electronic distance measurement instrument, an electronic digital theodolite, and a computer. This device automatically observes horizontal and vertical angles, as well as distance, and transmit the results in real time to a build in a computer. This data can all be stored within the instrument or e-survey controller. The potential value of early EDM models to the surveying profession was immediately recognized. Let's not forget the metal tape, the levels, and everything we will need for the file work. EDM is based on the rate and manner the electromagnetic energy propagates through the atmosphere. The rate of propagation can be expressed with the following equation. B is equal to F times lambda, where B is the velocity of electromagnetic energy in meters per second, F is the modulate frequency of the energy in hertz, and lambda the wavelength in meters. And the other equation, where C is the velocity of electromagnetic energy in a vacuum, and N the atmospheric index of refraction. If we take the ray as polygon, we can calculate its interior angles, distance from the side, as well as perimeter and area. We use the Google Earth for calculate the perimeter and area of the Agora Garden Tower. Once you have obtained the measurement of the land, then measure the length of the boundary walls or fences. It is a good idea to also measure into each corner from two different locations, so you can cross-check the exact position of each corner as shown. We will carry out the file work with all the teams, and then go to the office work, do the necessary calculations, and that is it. Thank you for your attention. 谢谢.
I'm in love with the shape of you. We push and pull like a magnet do. Although my heart.
Gracias a todo el equipo de topografía por presentarnos su trabajo y los conocimientos adquiridos durante este semestre.
Here, I want to congratulate Ms. Sofia Ramos for her outstanding performance in the class of UPTP Work Study in 2020. Her project solved the problem of sharing the same space with her sister for online classes during the COVID-19 quarantine, which is very relevant and important for the situation. She used a fish diagram, Pareto analysis, and the 5S system to create an optimized space for her sister and her to learn together. More importantly, she and her sister agreed on a protocol that both parties will follow to avoid conflicts and allow the availability of the shared space to be sustainable. This strategy perfectly realized the principle of Shizuke Shenmei in the 5S system, and I believe this is the key to achieve long-term success in not only school learning, but also family relationship. Congratulations on your outstanding performance, Sophia. Keep the good work.
Hi, my name is Sofia Ramos. I am proud and honored to be awarded with this certificate. Through this project, I found a solution to the problematic that was affecting my family during this pandemic. I did it through the creation of a study space applying the principles and methodologies learned in the work study class. I believe none of this was going to be possible if it weren't for the Professor Robert Lin and the way he taught us everything we had to know about the subject. He did his best at teaching us, and to me, he did an excellent job. My classmates and I did a pretty good job at finding solutions to the different problematics that was affecting each one of us during this pandemic. And we all have to thank Professor Robert Lin and TA Cesar Ayala for that. They did an excellent job at teaching us. I am proud to say that I learned a lot from this class and I am happy with the obtained results. Thank you very much.
Here, I want to congratulate Ms. Maria Jose Barrios for her outstanding performance in the class of UPTP Work Study in 2020. Her project solved the problem of sharing the kitchen during the COVID-19 quarantine. Although the problem is relevant not just in the situation, the difficulty and inefficiency of sharing indeed worsened during the quarantine due to increased preparation of food at home. She also used a fish diagram, Pareto analysis, and a flow diagram to solve the problem. But unlike Sophia, she dared to propose a bold idea to renovate the kitchen space. I was happy to know that her suggestion was agreed by her family, and I expect that they will execute this new plan in a short time. Congratulations on your outstanding performance, Maria. Enjoy your new kitchen.
Hello, I'm Maria Jose Barrios, and I want to say thank you very much, Professor Lim. I'm very happy that this project is one of the chosen ones, since thanks to this project, I was able to demonstrate what I learned in work study and find efficient solution to the problem that is currently in my house. This made me and my family very happy. Thanks, Professor Lim, for having taught us these tools and for everything we learned in this semester, despite the current circumstances. And thanks to TA Cesar Ayala, who also helped us in this semester.
There is no doubt that our students have studied and learned. It is comforting to know that they not only acquired the knowledge, but also use it on real-world application. I know that they will continue their learning and accomplish more and contribute to the making of a better tomorrow for our world. Thank you for your time with us this morning. We hope you have a wonderful day.
No hay duda de que nuestros estudiantes se han preparado y aprendido. Es reconfortante saber que no solo adquirieron el conocimiento, sino que también lo usaron en aplicaciones del mundo real. Sé que continuarán su aprendizaje y lograrán aún más, y contribuirán a la creación de un mañana mejor para nuestro mundo. Gracias por estar con nosotros en este día. Les deseamos una buena jornada.